What's up, guys? Thanks for checking back in with the channel Mindset for Beginners. So today's video topic is going to be change your mindset and you'll change your life. So one of the things we have to start understanding, guys, is that mindset, it has to be your foundation for your life. It has to be the foundation for the vision that you see for your life. It has to be the foundation for your goals. Without changing your mindset, there's not going to be much permanent change that you're going to have in your life. I mean, you can have some temporary change, but it's not going to last for long. All right, guys, before I get started in this video, if you have already subscribed, I appreciate you for coming back and letting me share this information with you. If you are not subscribed, please do me a favor. Go ahead and below and hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. As you guys know and can see, that I don't have a lot of videos up right now, and you know, the YouTube analytics aren't in my favor, so you might not see it on your YouTube home feed page. So do me a favor, when you hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that notification bell too. So let's jump into this video, man. And one of the things I want to point on before I get started is we have to start increasing our attention span. All right, guys, that's one of the ways that we are going to be able to achieve our goals, to achieve that big vision that we have in our lives. All right, so watch the video all the way through to the end. You know, I'll be honest, it helps with the YouTube analytics, and it also helps us to stay focused, man. That's the main point. It helps us stay focused. We have to learn how to stay focused on a particular task. And you know, a lot of people say multitask, but I believe in staying focused on one particular thing at a time, especially when it comes to important things like taking in information, your goals, your dreams, your desires, and stuff like that. So let's get off into this video. So I want to touch on a few things before I get started into the meat of this video. And I say watch the video to the end because I'm saving the meat for the middle and the end. So watch the video all the way to the end. All right, guys. So I want to touch on 4 things before I get started in this video. And one is to know where you're going. You know where you're going. Have a vision of where you're going, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to be, what you're trying to become. Also, the next thing is to know where you are. Be honest about where you are in your life. You know, if you're overweight, don't make excuses. You know, no, just admit it, live with the fact, and don't be in denial. Don't be telling yourself, making excuses for yourself, or well, it's because of this, because I'm big boned, or you know, because my parents were like this. No, you have the ability to change anything in your life, and it all starts with your mindset. So like I said, first thing is know where you're going. Second thing is know where you are. Third thing is to know what you want. You know, sit down, be honest, write it down if you have to, but know what you want. What do you really want? Does it line up with your values? Does it line up with your morals? Does it line up with who you are as a person in, you know, this day and time, and your age, and your, you know, your physical ability? Kind of get in alignment with the things that you want. Make it make sense. You know, you can't just go out and have a goal that doesn't make sense, because a lot of times, you know, physical law prevents us from becoming something somebody else is. So have it line up with your values, have it line up with your morals, and have it line up with your, you know, your physical ability, or what you are, you know, physically capable of. All right. And the last thing is not worry about how you're going to achieve it, how you're going to get there. That's the last thing you need to worry about, is how. The universe will take care of stuff like that. You know, if you develop, you know, a big enough reason why you develop that passion in your heart, you know, you create that energy, that emotion, that energy in motion, you create that, you're going to attract that thing, and you're going to attract yourself to certain situations, certain circumstances to lead you to make the decisions based on what it is that you want or what it is that you desire or your goals that you are trying to achieve. All right, guys. So I just want to touch on them things before I get into the meat of this video. And I'll go ahead and get started on that, guys. So one thing we have to understand, and we have to get this in our psyche, in our subconscious mind, we have to really take this information in. So one thing we have to understand is that mindset is a mental program that has control over your habitual behavior. Now let me say that again. Listen up. Mindset is a mental program that has control over your habitual behavior. See, one of the things you have to understand is that we are creatures of habit. Our mind works in habits, and there's no way around that. 95% of your life is controlled by habits. The way you wake up in the morning, the side of bed you get out on, the way you drink your coffee, the way you drive to work, you know, the way who you communicate with at work, the way you drive home from work, you know, the things that you do, the programs you watch on TV. That's why they're called programs, because they're a set of things that are in place that you do on a regular basis. That's why a TV program is called a TV program, because it comes on at a certain time, on a certain day, at a certain day of the week. And, you know, that's why it's called a program. And your mind has these programs too. So get that in your mind, that 95% of your life is controlled by habits. All right, guys. So the next thing is, that means that when you're trying to achieve a goal or change your life in some type of way, you're only using about 5% of your mind. I mean, when you start out, you're only using about 5% of your mind until you develop that habit. Now, excuse me, it takes about 30 to 60 days to develop a habit. All right. So you know how, for example, when the beginning of the year, you set this goal, I'm going to start working out at the gym. I'm going to go to the gym, you know, and work out. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in shape. But you don't really have a definite plan. You don't have this thing written down. You know, you don't have this day-to-day plan that, you know, you're going to do this. In the event you don't set this habit, you don't keep this habit long enough. And a lot of people don't even make it past 2 months before they drop out of the gym and they stop trying to achieve their goal of, you know, whatever it was when they started out at the beginning of the gym, in the beginning of the year. So you have all these people in the beginning of the year, they're signing up for gym memberships, and then they use them for, you know, a month and a half, 2 months, and then they're paying a membership that they're not even utilizing. All right, guys. So we have to start realizing that when you're trying to achieve a goal, you know, it's going to take a lot of will, a lot of effort, you know, for first, you know, 90 days or so, first 4 months or so. It's going to take a lot of will and a lot of effort on your conscious mind part. All right. You have to develop that habit into your subconscious mind, where that 95% is at work. You have to get it down there. So you have to, you know, develop this habit of, you know, I'm going to do this a certain day, a certain time, and I'm going to stick to it. You know, I'm going to be reminded. I'm going to set a reminder on my phone that I have to do this. I have to do that. So I'm going to break down 2 ways to actually change your mindset. All right, guys. So the first way is to be repetitive. Repetition changes your mindset. It programs your subconscious mind, because it tells your subconscious mind that this is important to him. This is important to her. You know, so we're going to store this information and then we're going to repeat it. It's going to be a part of our repetitive process, and it's going to be automatic. It's going to automatically be stored in that 95% of the action that you take on a day-to-day basis. And the way that you do that is to continue to repeat the information over and over again. So if you're going to the gym, if you started a gym program, write down the days that you're going to go. Be repetitive with it. Don't make any excuses. Just get up and go. Push yourself to go for at least 4 months. Once you get past that 4 months, it will be a habit. All right, guys. So it's like, the gyms have been closed due to the pandemic for some time now. It's so built into me to go to the gym and work out. I mean, I work out at home sometimes. I do some calisthenics and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near the same. I am itching to get back in the gym. I am like, it's burning inside of me to get back in the gym because it has developed into a habit. It has developed into something that I emotionally attach to, something that has become a part of me. So be repetitive in the things that you're doing. That's why it's good to read good self-development books over and over and over and over and over again, because you're retaining that information. That information is going down to your subconscious mind. That subconscious mind is reflecting it back out into your outer world, where you're able to start making decisions and taking action on the information that you're taking in. All right, guys. So the next thing that you could do to change your mindset is things that happen to you emotionally. A lot of times we get tied to things that affect us emotionally. For example, this pandemic is going to change the way we live. It's going to change the way we interact with people. It's going to change the way we live our lives on a day-to-day basis, because it has impacted us emotionally, has impacted the whole world emotionally. So it's changing our mindset. It's giving us a whole new level of thinking. And when things affect you emotionally, that's when a lot of times you're forced to change. But we don't want to go that route. We want to change ourselves. We want to choose the things that we change. But you want to have control over your own mindset. So start thinking for yourself. Start being repetitive in the things that you want and you desire, and things that help you change, and go from there, guys. So this is all I got. Thanks for checking in with the video. Like I said, if you have already subscribed, I appreciate you so much for continuing to watch my videos. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, do me a big favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.